Now we're turning to another interesting spiritual topic where we're excited to be interviewing Dr. Dain Heer, a world-renowned speaker, best-selling author of more than 10 books, and the co-creator of Access Consciousness and its simple tools to empower you to literally create a life you desire. So, Dr. Dain, welcome, and please start by explaining how you discovered it decades ago and why it's literally changing lives.
So, Access Consciousness is something that was started over 30 years ago, and by a gentleman by the name of Gary Douglas. And its target is to empower you to know that you know. And as its name suggests, it's about bringing consciousness to every area of our lives. And in so doing, creating the possibility for consciousness throughout the world. And we have a definition of consciousness, which is where everything exists and nothing is judged. And if I put it in a sentence, Access Consciousness is about you accessing the consciousness that you already have within you to allow you to create the miraculous life.
Access Consciousness and access bars are literally affecting hundreds of thousands of lives of people in nearly 200 countries. So obviously there's something to it, which means being goofy and childlike and saying a very profound clearing statement that sounds kind of like gibberish. So how does it work, Dr. Dain?
It's right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyonds. And each of those words means something and addresses a particular way in which we uniquely stick ourselves with something so that we don't have to be stuck with that something anymore when we're willing to let it go. The POC stands for going back to the point of creation of wherever you chose this point of view that's sticking you right now, and asking it to dissolve or change its perspective so that you can actually see the space within it and the space for different choices. And I will say, okay, will you destroy and uncreate it, which is, will you destroy the structure you're currently living in? Because whenever we have something that's making us unhappy, it feels like we're in a prison of our own making. And we know somewhere that we had something to do with it, otherwise we wouldn't be inside of it. And so I'm asking, will you destroy the walls of the prison, basically? And will you uncreate, meaning will you take your creative energy out of creating this point of view?
So your book, Being You, Changing the World, personally impacted me when I listened to it over the course of a month. I've seen how it's created new opportunities and magic. Please tell us about why Access is all about the asking of the question, and that's very clear in your book.
The book was born from my own personal journey of going from a place where I wanted to end my life to finding that there is a way of actually being fulfilled in life. And that's what I wanted to make available to people. But this idea of asking questions it's so simple and so transformational in that what most of us have learned to do is come up with the right conclusion, head in the direction of that conclusion and make it happen. And what it does is it eliminates anything else other than going on that very narrow-minded, narrow-focused journey. So when you ask a question, something like, what else is possible here I've never considered? What's right about me I'm not getting? Or what's right about this situation that I'm not getting? Or what choices do I have that I haven't been acknowledging and choosing? Or how does it get any better than this? Those are all open-ended questions. And what happens is you start to get a sense that something else is possible. You start to get a sense of space, whereas before there was only contraction. And a lot of us know what it is to live in a lot of contraction. And that's what we see all around us. That's what we see most people choosing.
Now, another important book of yours is Body Whispering, A New Way of Seeing, Being, and Healing. Very profound, and it's forcing us to reframe how we view our bodies as our true life partner, not something that we have to drag around with us and fit into boxes. Tell us more about that.
It's about the idea that if we can start to speak our body's language, we can start to, number one, love it. And in fact, one of the first lines on the back of the book is, what if your body could be your best friend? You know? And what do you do with a best friend? Well, you adore them. You forgive them for their shortcomings. You also don't judge them. You have an immense amount of caring for them, and you feel better when you're together than you do when you're apart. And you don't have any need of them. You just have total gratitude for them. And so this is where the book is written from, is how do we actually get to there? How do we actually live that? Because a lot of us have our bodies as an afterthought. And rather than having it as our best friend, we have a cantankerous relationship with it, where it's like we seem like we're judging it all the time. It's about the recognition that our body has an energetic language of its own. And when we start to tap into that, we can change so many things that most people do not realize are possible to change, and including things that we've been told are not possible to change.
Dr. Dain, thank you so much. And we're ending our show.